Tonight, a senior is shot multiple times in Leslieland, but the story takes a twist. The island's 100% COVID-19 recovery rate is shattered by a new imported case of the virus. And CIBC First Caribbean employees take industrial action. The details of these stories and more are coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Loveless and Amy Joseph.
Good night. It is Wednesday, the 9th of September 2020. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. I'm Lovely St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. A Wednesday morning shooting left the Leslieland community in a state of shock, especially with the twist involved in the incident. An elderly man was shot multiple times, but could it be a case of revenge? Rochelle Gonzalez went to the scene of the crime and filed this report.
The community of Leslieland was rocked early Wednesday morning after a shooting occurred involving an elderly man who lived in this house who goes by the alias Dress Down. We spoke to residents of the area who declined camera interviews. However, they informed us that the incident had more to it than meets the eye, as according to reports, the victim was the initial aggressor. Meanwhile, the spokesperson for the St. Lucia Fire Service, Stacey Joseph, gave the details of the early morning incident. Right here is the spot where the victim collapsed after running from his house with several gunshot wounds. This was also the spot where he was attended to by emergency responders of the St. Lucia Fire Service. Whilst he did not succumb to his injuries, he was taken to the Owen King EU Hospital, reportedly in stable condition. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
St. Lucia was having an impressive run with its COVID-19 recovery rate at 100%. That changed on Tuesday when a new case of COVID-19 was recorded on island. The individual is a 27-year-old male visitor who arrived in St. Lucia on Sunday the 6th of September. On arrival, the individual went through the necessary screening and proceeded to a COVID-19 approved accommodation. However, the island's chief medical officer, Dr. Sharon Belmar-George, says it should be noted that where health authorities have reason to require additional testing in country, this is undertaken, as was the case with this traveler.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness has commenced contact tracing from last night, and this is continued into today to ensure that all contacts are identified and the required interventions will be undertaken to manage the risk of exposure. The Ministry of Health, we are working closely with the hotel's management to ensure that all of the measures are in place to minimize transmission to hotel workers and to guests. We'll provide further information on the progress of this case as our reports come in. As most sectors open and restrictions are reduced, the public is advised to take personal responsibility to protect themselves, their families, and the public in general from exposure to the COVID-19 virus. The public is also advised that protocols are still in place. These include the use of face masks in public and maintaining the recommended 6-foot physical distance guidelines.
That was Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sharon Belmar-George. The total number of COVID-19 cases recorded on the island so far is now at 27. Although St. Lucia's most recent COVID-19 case has been recorded as case number 27 in national statistics, the Ministry of Tourism notes that this is the first imported case on island since the reopening of the tourism sector. Minister for Tourism Dominic Fede says the interception of only one case with more than 6,000 arrivals from high-risk areas speaks well for St. Lucia's reopening. However, he stresses that the matter was addressed with seriousness and says the infected visitor is returning to the country of origin. Shaka Wooding reports.
On September 9th, 2020, one day shy of the 2-month anniversary of the reopening of the tourism sector, local authorities intercepted the first imported case of COVID-19 since the resumption of tourism activity. St. Lucia has recorded over 6,000 tourist arrivals in the past 2 months. Minister for Tourism Dominic Fede says the continued low frequency of imported cases is commendable, particularly when tourism source markets are COVID-19 epicenters. However, the minister underscored that this newly recorded case means there is no room for lax behavior, and authorities must keep on their toes as the tourism reopening moves into phase 2.
It's too early to say that we need to go back to the drawing board because the numbers are quite low and we continue to see great success in how we've managed it. We are very meticulous in ensuring that everyone who comes in, they must come in with a test. And that is very important. We're getting great assistance from the airlines to police this. But what I think that the case yesterday has shown us is that you cannot do enough due diligence.
Fede says local authorities acted quickly to see that the visitor in question was isolated once tested. He disclosed that the visitor will be sent back to their place of origin via air ambulance.
We're making arrangements for him to go back via air ambulance. He would have had to be treated in the hospital, would be the normal protocol. It would be difficult to send one back on a flight with other passengers. And so for fear of also spreading the virus to them, he's going back via air ambulance.
The minister further disclosed that government did not pick up the tab for the expedited air ambulance, and all associated costs were covered by the visitor. Jacques Wooding, Hot 7 News.
Employees of CIBC First Caribbean took industrial action on Wednesday, the 9th of September. The bank was forced to operate at limited capacity and issued a statement expressing its disappointment while offering apologies to its clients. The employees' bargaining agent, the National Workers Union, NWU, says there were simply pressing matters that needed to be addressed with the FCIB membership in order for the next steps to be planned. We spoke to Deputy President General of the NWU, Solis Myers.
Well, the members of the NW at FCIB would have been summoned to an emergency general staff meeting to discuss all of the very important decisions and updates as it relates to the bank, the future of the bank operations, and the impact it will have on their various departments, branches, and functions. So the workers had a lot of concerns and a lot of anxiety coming out of what they're currently facing. So the union thought it necessary to bring everybody together to have that kind of exchange. We have been in touch with management since then, and we're organizing the best way forward under the circumstances.
CIBC First Caribbean noted that given the fact that its discussions with the union are ongoing, the bank will not comment on any substantive issues at this time. However, the bank says it is committed to working out an amicable solution to the issues raised by employees through the union. An apology was made to clients for any delay in the provision of services that the bank's reduced staff complement may have caused. Digital channels such as mobile and online banking and ABMs remain available to clients. This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Still to come, a cabinet minister says from all indications the state of emergency will not be extended. The latest projections from the Met Office as the hurricane season reaches its peak, and we bring you reactions of fans in the city as Zouk's mania took over on Tuesday night. That and more coming up after the break.